to the Overland Legend. My name's Alan. In today's video, I'm going to be talking to you about this Landy. It's the first Landy that we've owned as a family, and it's actually the first Landy that I featured, or the Landy that I featured in my very first video on my channel. And it's taken me almost a year to get round to making a video about this Landy. But that in itself is a whole story. What an experience driving this old Landy. I haven't driven it for I don't know how long, years and years and years. And it's the first time I've driven it since my dad passed away last year about this time. And yeah, it's full of memories of the holidays and what we've had in this Landy. And it's so nice just to drive it again. And it's not quite like I remember it. It is a hell of a slow and noisy. But I mean, the poor old lady hasn't really been at work for a long time. We actually just started it up for the first time in over a year today. So I'm just driving it home now, and just to give it a bit of a go and see how it goes. But we'll have to do a little bit of work, fix the brakes, the clutch is a bit dodgy, and we'll sort it out, and hopefully we'll be right driving it a little bit more. Nice. So today I was supposed to do a bit of a video and a shoot on this 109 here. You know, it's been a while since I wanted to make this video, and I've been doing a whole lot of stuff and had to do a lot of maintenance on it because it just hasn't been used for a while, and there was a lot of stuff we had to do on the brakes and the radiator and the carburetor and a whole lot of stuff, and got everything sorted, and I thought everything's fine and it's all good, ready to go, and I need to find a pool of brake fluid under the left-hand back wheel. So we're not going anywhere with this situation here. It's been a bit of an episode getting this ready, but yeah, as soon as I get it sorted out, I'll be able to get on with that video. But in the story this week, I'm going to talk about this Landy. I'll show you the ins and outs of it. I'll show you what it looks like when a Landy spent 40 odd years of its life working hard, and I'll show you exactly how we used to use it and how we modified it as a camper. I've found a whole lot of camping items that are still at my dad's house. Some of the early stuff they used to kit this Landy out. I mean, back in the 70s, there was no you know, fancy accessory stores and everything. It was a case of you had to do your own thing. So that's what I'll show you, and then also just show you what it looks like now. It's no longer in camping format. It's actually a pickup at the moment, and I'm just using it today on the way to the rubbish dump. I've got the back loaded full of junk, and just going to go and load it off. So yeah, it's still serving a purpose. But stick around, and I'll get to the detail and show you exactly what this beautiful old girl looks like, and give you all the secrets and stories of her life so far. So this is a 1973 Land Rover Series 2A that my dad bought new. And I thought I had the slip, but we can't seem to find it. But what I did find was the original quote that he used at the time, and you can see here it was a 6-cylinder Safari with roof windows and a tropical roof. Extra petrol tank was fitted with the hubs, everything coming to 4,115 Rand, and then the spare wheel carrier, which he never put on. And so that's the original quote. So from 1973 till today, that's 50 years of Land Rovering. And just enjoy these shots as we look at this old lady and the character that she's got after all that time and all those amazing trips. Yeah, so this Landy is actually really bog standard. It hasn't got any major modifications on, still running a 2.6 litre engine, the same, not the same engine, it's actually been replaced once. Then it's got forward control rims on, just to make it a little bit wider. And then the only other difference really is on the back diff, which is an E&V axle. But otherwise, yeah, pretty much bog standard and just kept running. Okay, let's have a look inside and see what it looks like. So this is a Series 2A, so it has still has the steel dash. But because it's 2A, it actually has the front lights in the wings. This is actually a late 2A, so it's 73. So that would have been just before the Series 3, or in fact the Series 3 was pretty much available. And I know at the time my parents, especially my dad, they were not too keen on the plastic dash, so that's why they went for the metal dash. They thought, no, that was too soft. Sounds quite familiar, doesn't it? But anyway, so yeah, so it's pretty normal. It hasn't, I mean, that firewall and everything is still in, the whole vehicle actually is still in very good condition from a rust point of view, having lived in Gauteng its whole life. Just the little bit of rust on the door tops, but the firewall itself is perfect, and there's really no issues with any rust, and it's spent its whole life inside a garage other than driving. And otherwise it's standard. The dash is still the same. The only difference really is the indicator that would have been on the side here would have broken off, and I still remember early on replacing it with this just a little toggle switch here for the indicator. So I remember that from when I was a kid, so that's been there forever. And then the rest is the same. These things have obviously broken. I need to get them replaced, but it's very familiar. Standard old dash, came black like this with this finish on, which was also normal. And then it's still got a little bit of the carpeting in from when it was a camper. But the whole inside was carpeted, and you can see where it was stuck down. But since it was converted back to a pickup, it hasn't got that on. Here's the original plate, the manufacturing plate, and the original chassis plate over here. So it's a South African built vehicle, obviously. And yeah, and the seat, still the same old seat cover that's on here. This seat cover has seen so much action over the years, and we used to have a cover on the back here, but that's gone off now. So yeah, the wear and tear here is legendary. But now it's just got a cab on, and it's used as a pickup. So yeah, living on a plot, it's quite useful to have a pickup, and I actually use this today to go to the dump with. So it's really nice. And around the back there, also pretty normal, nothing much. Because when it was originally bought, it had a hard top on with a door. So this isn't the original tailgate. So this tailgate's just been put on the same time as when you put the top on there to make it into a pickup. And around the side, and as I mentioned, the wheels, the rims are Ford control rims. And then I'll get to the part of how it was kitted out for camping. We can have a look at that a bit later. And on this side also, still fairly normal. And then these was yeah, just a door that sort of packing that was put in, that my folks put in, quite nice. At the time it had all the maps and all the traveling stuff in here, so it fitted in quite nicely. And if we look under the engine, under the bonnet, just a normal 2.6. Lots a bit of, and yeah, it's been cleaned up a bit, but still probably needs to be relooked. But otherwise, going well. This engine still runs beautifully. The reason my parents bought this Land Rover was for overlanding. They could no longer get to the places they wanted to go with their normal sedan car, and so Land Rover was the obvious choice. The first few trips were done with a trailer, which didn't prove very successful, and they soon got rid of it. And then they just modified the Land Rover into an overlanding vehicle for the four of us to travel in. Okay, let's have a quick look at how this Landy was kitted out for camping. So there's a couple of things that we did to it. So the first thing is this is an extra fuel tank that we've got basically under the seat, and that together with the main fuel tank was pretty much enough fuel. So that's and it works with a switch inside. That was put in almost from the beginning. And then on the front, to carry water, this water container was actually mounted over here. You can still see the original mounting brackets or place where it was mounted. So it used to sit in this pot over here. It's actually a little bit higher up like that. And that was the main water container. And then towards the end there was also one like this on the back of the vehicle, and so that carried all the water that we needed. And then in terms of the sleeping arrangements, so this was obviously it was a hard top, so it had a hard top on the back with a door, and that was my dad bought it like that. It was a modification that he had Land Rover do, so we actually received it as a hard top. And then in the back we made a double bed. There wasn't this tailgate obviously, and we made there was just made a basic frame at the bottom similar to what you've got these days with hardboard that could fold over, and so there was a little passage over here and it could fold over, and then that would become a double bed to sleep on. So two people, the two parents would sleep at the back, and then the two of us would sleep actually in the cab. And so for a long time Brian was still quite small, and obviously the shortest because he was the youngest, so he would actually sleep on the seat. And what we did is we just had two blocks of wood that we would put under the back, and then that would level the seat, and then he would sleep on the seat, and then I would sleep on a stretcher that ran across the top, and there were just two hooks on the top, so sort of halfway, and then I would sleep on the top, and then Brian would sleep on the back, and the folks would sleep in the back. Then in terms of storage, there was three sort of boxes that my mom actually cut into the vehicle. It's one on either side here, and then one into the bottom in the middle of the vehicle. So to take up, this is basically space that sits inside the chassis area, and it's just kind of dead space. So these boxes were cut in here, and then the funny thing is, you know, these keys were always kept over here, and I was wondering if they'd still be here, and lo and behold, yeah, they are. So they're still over here. So these are all the keys for the car that sit there, and then these were the keys for here. And so this was the box. So you can see it's quite a nice big area over here, and then goes into the back there. So we would pack on the one side, we would have a lot of we could pack extra food that we needed, and then on the other side, I remember my dad used that mainly as his toolbox. So on this side, same thing, also a box cut into the side of the vehicle, and it's got the same sort of layout. So that was yeah, I think this one was for all the tools, and these things, I mean, provided huge amount of space. Okay, then in terms of the other main thing that we had, initially we didn't have a fridge, and then after a while we had a gas fridge, but the kitchen unit was this unit that's over here, and this unit is just it's called the silver box, and this thing literally also must be like 40 years old, because my mom made it almost straight after we got the vehicle. And it kind of lived basically where it's sitting now. When we traveled, it would be strapped in over there. And then the really clever thing was that it was made to be taken out, so you would be able to take it out, and then these two screws over here were for putting that silver box on top of. And so we would then take it out and put it on here, and then you'd be able to open it up, and you'd have a kitchen. And that was the main kitchen arrangement that we had. So I mean, imagine if we had the door, and then we would be able to put the box out, and you would hook it on top here. Just had to get these holes lined up. Off, and there you go. And then that was yeah, so that's the silver box, and these would hold it up. I see they're broken off here, so but that would hold it up, and you'd be able to prepare everything here. Just sort of a little kitchen unit, obviously, with the pots and cups and plates, and then some basic food here and some other basic food stuff kept over here, so it's quick and easy. And this this system, actually, I'm still using almost exactly the same system. I've used it in all my Defenders, and I currently use it in my Discovery. I've got a kitchen unit that's similar to this. Cars come and go, and in our family Land Rovers come and go, but it's really amazing to see that this very first Land Rover that we ever had is still in our family. and we don't have any plans to get rid of it anytime soon. In fact, it's just waiting for that day when we can restore this amazing vehicle back to its former glory. Okay, and that's the wrap then for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Thanks again for watching my channel and for liking and subscribing if you have, and if you haven't then please do. It really helps me to grow the channel and keeps me motivated, and yeah, every time someone likes it or subscribes, I know, and if you comment, I'll comment back every single time. So thank you so much for all of those that do. And I hope you enjoyed this video about this awesome Landy. Unbelievable memories, and that's what it's all about, just creating memories, building, driving, overlanding. So if you enjoy that, then stick around, because there's just tons more videos coming. Thanks a lot. Cheers guys.